Hey guys, Luton here, and welcome back for some more Battlefield 4. It has been quite some time since I really played this game. It's been about a month, in fact, since I played this game. I just have been playing a lot of other things lately, and this has not been on the top of my list. But I thought it would be good to come back in and see what kind of gameplay I can get, especially seeing as I'm always talking about team play and this kind of stuff. It'd be cool to kind of, see what you can get from your average public game. So with that said, I just want to highlight the fact that me and Super decided to play a few rounds. We got some other matches as well as this one, and those were not as bad, but I felt that this one summarized better the kind of experience I generally find with the game. I just want to say as well, using the RPK here, as you can see, I've pretty much never used this gun. I've barely used it at all, which is why I've got almost no attachments for it whatsoever. So the fact that I've not been playing for a month, and the fact that I've got no real user time with this weapon, and with that said, we're just running it into this public game, okay? Now, as I say, me and Super had a couple of other games, and they were okay. They were alright. In fact, one of them was relatively close. We were both playing pretty hard for the objective. Our team were kind of playing like a normal public team. Not bad, not good. They were kind of just playing like a normal public team. And then on this round, we were like, okay, a few people had left after the last one because it didn't go so well. Also, the other team that we're playing against are particularly unpleasant. There's about 4 or 5 guys who are doing a lot of sort of baiting and just general abuse in the chat at the end of the last round, just generally being unnecessarily unpleasant. And obviously this is pretty normal that you find in most games now, but this evening it kind of really irritated me. I was just like, for fuck's sake, we're just trying to play some games here. Can we not play some games anymore without people being just like complete dicks? It's like, for fuck's sake. So anyway, we start off, and as you can see, I made a push towards B, and you could see that immediately there was a crap ton of people, so I was just like, no, I'm not dealing with that. So I decided to come back, and then as you can see, I got sniped in the side of the head. It's always a bad thing when you're stationary like I was there. But I wasn't anticipating that they'd have those snipers in quite so quick and on that, but there you go, that's what happened. So me and Super now are basically going to play the kind of aggressive, like trying to take the bases players for the rest of the round now, and keep your eye on what the rest of the team are doing. They don't play incredibly badly, and this is the kind of key as to what I'm talking about a lot of the time. Most of the time when you're playing in a public game, people aren't playing really bad most of the time, okay, sometimes for sure. A lot of the time it's more to do with their kind of awareness or willingness to move towards a position, and those are the kind of things that I feel like need to be focused on more. And coming back into the game, and I say we played about 4 or 5 rounds this evening, okay, and it's like coming back in and finding immediately that this is my experience with the game. It's like, I don't know why other YouTube producers and just people that talk about this game in general feel like they have to always be upbeat and positive and just talk about this, because if there's an issue there, you have to talk about it and highlight that issue in order for it to be resolved, in the same way as a technical issue, right? And there is as much an issue with the community as there are as many technical issues which have been being resolved. And that's why I get frustrated when the team play initiative, although I've seen David Serlin not want to call it that, it's why it's so frustrating when that gets put back so much when it's clearly a major issue with the game. And you can see it from these kind of games. Now look right now, where's the majority of our team? They're at A. Now some people are going to say, well, this is just symptomatic of this map, because Lumpy Garden has a habit of having that kind of situation on this map, that one side and one side. I don't buy that, okay, because whenever people say, oh, a map is one-sided, there are a few situations where that's true, okay, but most of the time you can like fight back and so on, you can see that there's a few players already start talking in the chat from the other team. You notice that our players don't really talk in the chat, but the other team are constantly sort of baiting and just being horrible. It's not really important because, as I say, a lot of the time, this guy here, I think, is a subscriber who just happened to be on the game as well. It's not really important, but I think it was just like a small thing that I kind of became aware of on top of everything else. It was like, they're already kicking our ass, and then people are just being dicks on top of that, and it's unpleasant, and it's just like, for fuck's sake, man, we're just trying to play some games here, do you really have to add that on top? And it's just like, it really kind of, what it was it sort of emphasized to me, like, this is the state of the game now. It's kind of, and it has been for ages obviously, but it's kind of, it just sort of brought it all back to me because I came back to play this evening, and it was like, yeah, it's still present, and people are still doing that shit, So we're fighting around B now, we're trying to keep control of it, and as you can see, most of the rest of our team are A, but we are capping C as well a little bit, but not really, so there's a few guys there trying to push forward, and this is what kind of I want to highlight as well is that you can see that some of our guys are trying to take that effort, but the majority are not, and that's the issue. Me and Super were trying to make a little bit of a flank here, but I kind of screwed up because we just underestimated. I was like, let's go to D because they won't be at D. I was anticipating that the enemy team would have pushed up much harder than they would, and as you can see, this is not the case. They've got it locked down. There's obvious reasons for this, because from D and also from C, they don't really need to move forward. They can just hold the line around this area, because as you can see, our guys are pushing across that field. Well, they don't need to actually move forward there. They can just create like a killing ground and just slaughter everyone that tries to come across there with snipers and the mounted MGs and all the rest of it. So instead, one of our guys actually managed to break through here on E. So sometimes this can be a good thing to do, because if you can break through and take a flag, you get behind. Sometimes you don't even really need to actually secure this flag for any length of time. It can be more like a pressure point, so you cap this flag and then that creates a pressure for the enemy to come back and remove it. Often as well, if they're winning, they feel like a bit of sort of pride, like damn, we've got to get that back again, so they'll kind of come off their other flags to come back to this, and it creates an opportunity for the rest of your team to push forward onto maybe D or C and then take control and then lock that down, get some good defense in there, and then you actually can hold 3 for a while, get some of those tickets back. We're not massively down on tickets at this point. It's only about 120 tickets down, so it's definitely, you know, we can work it, we can bring it back again. As you can see, I start taking some sniper fire up from the railway bridge right there, so that's why I'm sort of getting down here. Don't want to take that sniper fire. And there's a couple of guys coming in, obviously, to start securing it. And this is the kind of issue we're facing. But look right now, look what's happened. Although we have capped up onto E and C was flashing for a moment as well, B is also flashing right now. And as I say, looking at the scoreboard, it's just, you can see by looking at the players through the scoreboard where things are lying. There's a top, you know, sort of 5 or 6 players, and again, looking at the map right here, look at that killing ground down to the south. You can see everyone just getting slaughtered there horribly, getting back onto B because they've lost it. So our team don't really seem to know what to do right now. They're trying to push towards D, but this is another thing that you see a lot of the time. People just will continue to go the same way again and again and again. And at this point, me and Super were starting to say, like, dude, what the fuck are we going to do now? What shall we do? And like, again, we're getting absolutely ruined as we come across here. So sometimes making these fast pushes will work, and that's what I was trying to do. Sometimes you can, like, get through and, you know, break the line. You can catch them by surprise, you can sneak through. Often when you have a team like this, which is being very aggressive and locking us down, they can be a little complacent because they're doing so well, and that will enable, like, one squad to get through. That wasn't happening for us on this one. We were just having a really harsh time. But I wanted to try a couple more times, because sometimes when you're on like a quad or a jet ski or something like this, you can just slip through, and I was just trying, but at this point I was just like, that's it, it can't happen, because the amount of times where I've tried to do things like this before, you try to slip past the enemy, and again, it's all about creating that opportunity for the rest of your team. So like indirectly, I'm trying to help the team. I'm trying to create an opportunity for them to kind of push forward. These guys that are out here on this line, I mean, this is a good example though. What I said this in the game, it's like there was 3 guys in front of me there. Are you telling me that those 3 people in front of me couldn't kill that guy when I killed him at a longer range than all of them after I'd spawned in? And that kind of like summarizes how the rest of our team are playing. And this is the kind of gameplay that you feel like a lot of the time, which is like, you know, it's like, for crying out loud, please, really, you know, can you just get it together for one time? And again, you can see, like, even though, I mean, look at this is clearly not that hard. I just spawned in, ran to C, took out one guy. Supra's here with me as well, and we capped the flag. So it's not bloody rocket science, you know, it's doable. And just trying to create that sense of willpower in people to actually focus on the objectives and forget about other stuff. You know, we don't need all this Easter egg bullshit. We don't need these funny moments. We don't need to work on even epic moments in the game, on all these kind of, you know, battle moments, battlefields. You know, we don't need that stuff. We just need to get it back to the core aspect of what the game has always been about. You know, trying to focus actually on the fundamentals of the game, trying to encourage people to, hey, like, yeah, actually push forward, get on that flag, push that objective, actually get involved. And this is, you know, it doesn't surprise me at all that I come back after a month of playing the game and everything is exactly the same. Why would it change, you know? But nonetheless, it was just kind of curious for me, because I was like, okay, let's see what kind of gameplay we can get today. Sometimes you can be surprised and you can actually get pretty decent gameplay. Unfortunately, this evening, it kind of just highlighted for me what I, you know, had expected to find, which is that it was pretty typical. Also, like with all my gameplays, you know, I'm just leaving in the whole round here. I'm not cutting anything out. I'm letting you see the bits where I fuck up as well as the bits that I do real good. LB7, if you don't know who LB7 is someone that plays with me and Fuse and Super a lot as well. He's a good player. He's a good player in most FPS games, so he's worthwhile having on your team. And he just spawned in, and he's on the other team. And me and Super were just like, oh, for frick's sake. So it's like the other team have just gained like a very good player when they're already dominating us. So it was like not a fantastic situation. But we did tell him to like switch over to us. I said join us or it's stupid, dude. So he's trying to join over to us, and I think he manages it in a minute. But it's a little bit too little too late. So I'm rushing back into C because it's been capped straight away. I just want to highlight, looking on my minimap right here, there's a lot of blue guys all around this area, but they haven't really tried to get in and cap it. Now, I managed to take out one guy there. I was starting to put a little bit of pressure on this, and I'm saying right now in the chat, like, our team is really bad. Almost, I was trying to type unwinnable, but I was so pissed off, I was just like smashing my keyboard. I was like, rah. See, LB7's like, I can see that. It's like, yeah. Again, look at the map right here. Everybody's still on A. No, you know, why haven't they tried to come to B and then cross this bridge and get behind the wall and then attack like E at the same time as C or something like this? If we had enough people around this way, we could maybe do that. Now, you know, there's a possibility that if that's what would happen, A would be so weak that they would rush in and cap A. But better to try than just to sit there and lose the game, right? You know, and it's like, that's the thing that's happening right here. I mean, this is a good example. It's like, I'm coming in here, I'm coming up towards this flag, and there's a whole section of combat right here where it's like, where, you know, where is everybody around me? I just end up with like these ridiculous sort of engagements that we're having. I'm rushing back towards this area. I think there's a jet ski comes in right now, or something like this, I don't know. Yeah, here he goes. This is such an old school style of video tonight. Got the acoustic labs, got round breakdown discussion happening. We haven't had one of these for ages, so I hope people enjoy this today, because it's just kind of, you know, talking through some issues and thinking about what's happening in the game. But, you know, seeing this tonight, like, really didn't enthuse me to play more. You know, it was just like, yeah, it's just the same as what I thought always. And I did say to Super, I said we should play some more and try some different servers out and see what can happen. But it's like, this is the thing for me, is that it's just like, this is how it seems to feel all the time when you play now. And this is why I'm so adamant about things need to change in the next game. But like I said previously, you know, maybe I'm just in a massive minority. You know, maybe just nobody gives a shit. Like, maybe just no one cares and it just doesn't matter anymore. Or maybe the amount of people that think that are not valid, because maybe if it's like 10% of the player base, then maybe that's just how it is. But I just find it strange to think that like DICE or EA or DICE LA or whoever would be happy with this state of play. Like, it seems strange to me that they would be content to just see the gameplay generally deteriorate to the point. Here we are. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, you know, I go on this kind of wrecking streak here, and I get killed, but like on this part, but I get picked back up again, and then I continue fighting on. And it's like, I get quite a lot of kills here, and it's like, so, you know, I haven't played the game in for a month, and I got quite lucky as well. And it's like, so, you know, the other team are like, not that, because Super was saying like, afterwards, he was saying like, oh, you know, there's some people there, they're clearly working as a squad, etc, and that's why we lost. And I was just saying like, no. I was like, if you look at it overall, like, they're not doing that good. It's just that our team are not engaging them, and they're not pushing the correct points at the right time. They're not looking at where they can move. And again, like here, you know, I bailed out the way because I started taking some hits and I knew I couldn't win that situation. And then I just started clearing up these guys with the pistol. I couldn't believe I got so many kills with the pistol. And it kind of shows, you know, it's like I would have expected by now someone to just jump down spraying at me and, like, you know, finish the job, but it didn't happen. And then I tried to bail through into here. I was trying to get some health back. I get snipers shooting at me. I was just like, Jesus, man, I cannot move right here. Well, I've just recorded like the last part of this video about 5 times trying to get the commentary right, and it's like, it just kind of maybe highlights how frustrated I am right now, that I just can't get the words out to explain just how irritated I can feel with this game. It's like, I just feel absolutely mind-numbingly frustrated that just nobody seems to care about the team play stuff. And even when I try to find out about it, I can't get any answers from EA and DICE about it, because I can't speak to the right people to actually find out the things I need to find out. Like, are they even interested in team play? Is team play going to be a factor that they push more in the next game? What are the things that they might consider to put that into place? There's so many different questions I want to ask, and it's just like, nobody seems to be able to give us those answers. It's very, very frustrating. On top of that, it's like with the team play initiative, like I said, I just don't even really see the point in it right now. Team play or objective, whatever you want to call it, you know, it just seems like an irrelevant thing to put in at this place. It's so late in the day, and Star Wars is so close as well. People are going to just move on to that for some time anyway. But the other thing is, like I say, just the gameplay just seems to always come back to being the same. It's like you can play as hard and as objective as you want, but nobody ever seems to support you. And the game has definitely changed in that respect. Like, it never used to feel that way. It never used to feel completely hopeless, even if the other team was winning. And on top of that, the unpleasantness of other players. And that's all, in my opinion, it's all part and parcel of the way this game has been packaged, sold, and promoted in both, the media, in both YouTube producers, in both marketing aspects of EA and DICE as well themselves. It's like always this tone of just like crazy shit, funny things, like just generally fucking around, and it's like those things are fine, but it's just like it's so much about that it just starts to dictate like how the game itself plays. And I've started to see some other producers, like I say, focusing a little bit more on team play, but what the fuck is the point at this time in the day? It's like all the damage has been done already. It just seems pointless to me. So I'm absolutely frustrated beyond belief with this game, and I'm even more annoyed because when I go to other FPS games, I don't encounter the horrible attitudes that you find in the game now. It just seems like the game is just full up of like just really just nasty people who are just out to like fuck you over. And I say, when I go to play Arma or Squad or Verdun or even Insurgency or other things, I just don't find that. You find respectful people that are nice and happy to help you and give you good gameplay. It just seems the opposite here. I'm just frustrated behind belief. And then on top of this, look, got to the end of the round and I was at least happy that I'd played my best through that round that I could, and I'd been fighting hard for the objective, and I got kicked at the end of the round, which was just literally like the final kick in the balls at the end. So I don't know. I kind of apologise, guys, for being so frustrated with the game right now, but having just come out of those sessions today, you take a break away and you want to come back to something, you feel like, hey man, let's be positive, let's give it another crack, and then this is what you encounter, and it's just like, I'm going to give it another shot in the next week and stuff, and we'll get some more gameplay and things, but, I'm trying my best, I'm trying my absolute hardest to be fair and give it the benefit of the doubt, and for the longest time talk about patience in terms of waiting for them to address these issues or align with it. But I feel so frustrated because Battlefield is a series that I have supported for the longest time, and I've done everything I can to try and sort of make people aware of the issues that facing the objective team play stuff, and the fact that the game in that sense is just deteriorating, and just nobody seems to care, and it's like I honestly feel like giving up. I just, because how long can you just go on with one thing? I've tried for years to make people aware of team play and objective play. You guys know that that's basically all my channel with Battlefield was about, and it just seems to be just nobody seems to just give a shit. Like, nobody just cares. I don't know what to say. It's like I've tried reaching out to the guys that I know with EA and DICE. I didn't get anywhere there either. So I just don't know what to say. I've tried everything I can to push this forward, and unfortunately as well, my channel's just not of a big enough size for people really to take notice either, which is another problem. So I don't know what to do at this point. I'm at an absolute lost cause. So sorry to finish on such a negative, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I had a great time tonight. Oh, it was so good. Amazing gameplay. No, it was just awful.